Good afternoon, my brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus. I'm excited to make this video today. The 80s, the decade that made us. Boy, oh boy. Let's have a look back at what the world was like when AOL was born. 35 years ago, users heard the dial-up sound. Remember that? I remember that. And you've got mail. The 80s technology, computers, big hair, and some of the greatest movies ever made. In the 80s, gas was only $1.12, less than half of what it is today. Nobody sends letters anymore, but stamps were 20 cents in the 80s. Now they're 55 cents. January 1st, 1985, the first seatbelt law came into effect starting in New York. January 20th, 1985, Ronald Reagan, once an actor turned politician, was entering his second term. George H.W. Bush was our vice president. March 2nd, 1985, the FDA approved the first blood test for AIDS. AIDS was spreading rapidly. March 15th, 1985, the first .com domain was registered. April 23rd, 1985, Coca-Cola decided to change its original formula. There were protests. Protests. 77 days later, they changed it back to its original formula. May 13th, 1985, compact discs were mainstream. October 18th, 1985, Nintendo Entertainment Center was launched. 25 years later, it's the most influential video game of all time. It's my favorite. I love Nintendo. October 19th, 1985. Guess what opened in Dallas, Texas? Blockbuster, the very first Blockbuster video store, with over 8,000 to 9,000 videos all across their shelves. November 20th, 1985, Microsoft released its first Windows. Terrorist attacks were rapid in 1985. The hijack of TWA Flight 847 and the Italian cruiser was hijacked. Famine in Ethiopia is shown for the first time on national TV news in July. And Live Aid concerts around the world raise millions to help starving children in Africa. And then that opened the door for the pop sensation in the U.S. All the pop industry joined together to sing, "We Are the World." Oh, brothers and sisters, it's fun to look back. It's fun. I love the 80s. I grew up in the 80s. The 80s were phenomenal. Like I said, some of the best movies. But the point is that we had problems back then and we have problems now. And we try to look at how we handled it. And it seems like through it all, we all came together through God as one world and tried to stick together and make the best of times as they were back then. But the 80s were a wonderful time period, and I'll just never forget them. And I'm so pleased that that's when I grew up, because so many great things happened in the 80s. Not to say that nothing happened in other times, but the 80s were pretty big. It was, computers were just coming in, cell phones were just coming in, everything. It was an exciting time. So I just wanted to come on here today, and have a little bit of a nice video to reminisce, to look back. Anybody that's with me that grew up in the 80s had a favorite movie or a favorite song or whatever it was, because the music was not like it is today, by no means, and the movies weren't, they're just not the same. Oh, my favorite was The Breakfast Club, all those movies. St. Elmo's Fire. It was so much fun. So drop it below what your favorite movie was in the 80s, what your favorite thing to do was in the 80s, and if you were part of the 80s. And this was just a nice video I wanted to make to reminisce with all of you, to make a little bit of a lighter video today, because there's just so much going on in the world, so much hate, so much violence, and it was going on back then too, but the world came together, and that's what we have to do now under God, and keep praying, and just keep forging forward and come from a place of love and know that there's a season, the Lord tells us, for everything, and a reason. And just keep your heads up, your chin up, shoulders back. And what are we? We are warriors. And what are we? We are Team Jesus. And what are we? We are winning. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Welcome to all my new subscribers all over the globe. Your channels are beautiful. All over the globe. I literally have subscribers from every country, and I'm thrilled. And I love each and every one of you, and you are all doing a fabulous job. I learn from you, I laugh with you, I cry with you. And to all my subscribers, and to YouTube, and to everybody out there, I love you, and have a blessed and live in the now with Jesus Christ, and have a great day. And God willing, this little Italian girl will be back. Ciao.